Welcome to Unleashed Podcast, where all are welcome. Now, here is your host, Pup Twigs.
Hey everyone, Pup Twigs here for another episode of Unleashed. And joining me from Kansas City, Missouri is Handler Mase. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good. So glad that you could join me here tonight.
Happy to be here.
Well, I always kick off this one question so we can learn a little bit about you and everything. So, could you share a little bit about your journey and what being part of this LGBTQIA plus and the pup handler community, what it means to you?
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of said it earlier. So I was born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri, here, heart of the Midwest. Um, I have been a part of the community uh, for the majority of my life. I came out when I was pretty young. I was 12 when I came out, and I was 13 when I went to my first Pride Festival.
Wow.
Um, and I have just been a part of the community ever since. I have a lot of support in my family. Whenever I came out, it wasn't like a big, crazy issue. Um, we had friends of the family who were like openly queer whenever I was
Hmm.
growing up, and so it was just not a huge issue whenever I came out. I remember seeing a character on a television show that came out, and I was like, oh, I kind of identify with that. So I sat down and told my parents, I was like, yeah, this is what I saw on TV. I feel like that's kind of the situation with me. And they were both just kind of like, okay, that's fine. You're really young. Take your time. Don't feel like you have to rush to figure that out.
Yeah.
Uh, but if that is the case, then we love you no matter what. And we are here to support you no matter what as well. So yeah, I
Well,
just have a lot.
that's always good to hear that the family still supports after the coming out. Mine did as well, and it just makes everything so much easier.
Very much so. Yeah, I know that that's not always the most common story for people.
Yeah.
Um, I'm very fortunate to have the support system that I've got, which is part of why I've been such a big advocate in the community for others who don't have
Hmm.
a support system.
Yeah,
Uh,
I totally get you on that. Well, if you could leave our listeners with, one message about love, acceptance, and just being true to yourself, what message would you want to leave?
um,
Well, what about advice that you would give someone who's just starting that journey that you did so early in life? What would you tell them about embracing their identity?
I mean, I would probably tell them something similar to what my parents told me. Take your time figuring that out. Your masterpiece that you're working on throughout your whole life.
Yeah.
Um, Take your time figuring out what you like and what you don't like. It's important to figure those things out, and there's no wrong way to trial and error and figure that out. Um, I think it's just important to take that time to figure out yourself on different levels as far as like what you want from your various communities.
Hmm.
That is, the just the queer community as a at large community, and that's also, from your leather and kink community. Uh, there are yeah, lots of different ways that you can explore that, and there's
Right.
no wrong way to go about doing it.
Just take your time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you said that you came out at a very early age and attended your first Pride event. I think you said at 13. Do you have, over those years that you've been able to attend any kind of Pride events, do you have a special memory of something that you took part in?
So I mean, I would say a big accomplishment from my past is in 2020. No, I keep trying to say 2023 here recently. That was just a couple years ago. In 2013. So in 2013, I was elected the youngest person to ever chair the Pride Festival here in Kansas City.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I was 22. We had a lot of changes that year to our like the format and the layout of our Pride Festival. A few months out, we didn't have a location for it. The park that we would normally have it in got rained out and was not going to be available, so we had to kind of scramble and find a new location, a bunch of other
Hmm.
stuff. Um, but yeah, we were a few months out, and then all of a sudden we didn't have a location for our festival. So I worked really closely with the city that year. We had a lot of support on the city council and the mayor's office that year. So that helped immensely. And yeah, that's probably one of my most cherished memories is chairing that festival that year, getting to walk around the festival, see everyone enjoy it, and know that I was part of a team that was able to orchestrate that and pull that off in kind of a short period of time.
Wow, what a story. That is really cool. So, well, what misconceptions about, our community do you wish that more people would understand?
Um, well, in particular with like the pet and handler community,
Hmm.
I find myself telling people more often than not that it's not just a strictly sexual thing for a lot of people. For
Yes.
a lot of people, being in this community is a social thing. It's about connecting on a more personal level than it is just having, some sort of sexual gratification from it.
Hmm.
Um, most most of the pups and pets that I know go to moshes to let loose and kind of have some catharsis and kind of check things at the door and leave their human baggage uh, at the wayside for a little bit, just so they can kind of just pet out for a few hours. It's not, yeah, very seldom do moshes, at least where I'm from, no, very seldom do these moshes like turn into sexual affairs. Like they're very much just social. It's about having
Yeah.
fun, about playing with toys, being in the ball pit, just
Mhm.
spending time on the mats.
Yeah, and there's whatever you choose as part of your pup play is okay. That as long as you're okay with it and the person that you're with is okay with it, then do it. But yeah, I know people that do, both ways. It's just a release to get away from the human side, and then others do it for sexual. And whatever you choose, there's no wrong way.
Exactly. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of people who think that the pet play is strictly sexual,
Yeah.
and that I think just a misconception that some people have.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Well, I always like to hear about this next question, but if you could go and instantly master one talent, what would that talent be?
Um, so I don't know if my answer is the most appropriate answer. Not that it's inappropriate, but it's not necessarily a talent or a skill. It's
Okay.
more it's more along the lines of a superpower. Like this is just where my mind went whenever I read the question. It's more of a superpower. Are you familiar with like either the movies or the books of Dune?
Yes.
So when there's a group of women in there called the Bene Gesserit, and they have the ability to use this voice where they hit certain octaves and they're able to like control people, like basically just like control their minds and make them do things. Uh,
Hmm.
and that's where my mind went when I read that question. I think it'd be really cool to be able to do that, use the voice and just be like, like, get me some water.
And
And
there's nothing wrong with that. That would be, I would think that would be a pretty awesome talent to have.
yeah, that's always been like since I was young. I've always thought that it was just like the coolest thing ever, and would be something that I would love to be able to do. Like that's always been kind of my go-to answer for those sort of questions.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, and the next question, when I sent it out, it talks about your first celebrity crush, but it doesn't necessarily have to be your first. It could be some celebrity you're crushing on right now.
Um, I feel like I had to like actually sit and think about that. I was like how like what's the earliest that I can remember crushing on somebody? And the answer that I came to was besides my speech teacher when I was in like junior high. I remember, but he's not famous, not a celebrity. But I he was Mr. Thomas was one of my earliest crushes, that's for sure. But my celebrity crush from when I was younger would have to be Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings, played by Elijah Wood.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, I remember whenever those movies came out, I was pretty young, and I always just remember thinking that he was just the cutest little hobbit.
Well, there you go then. Well, I know we've talked a lot about community, but what is, the word community, and it could be the LGBTQIA plus community, or it could be the handler slash pup community. But what does it mean to you?
What does the community mean to me?
Yeah, yeah. What does community mean to you, whether it's the full community or just the handler pup community?
It's first and foremost, it's about connection. Um, I am I'm personally an extrovert, and I really just see it as like an opportunity to connect with people on different
Yeah.
levels.
Okay.
Um, the queer community, I think, as a whole, just because we live a lot more unfiltered and more authentic selves, that there's a lot more authentic expression, and allows for people to get to know each other on a lot more intimate and closer basis. Um, Taking that a step further, like in the kink and leather and like pet community,
Mm-hmm.
those are just more barriers that are coming down, and you're getting to know people on an even more like in-depth level. And so there are people who I don't have like romantic relationships with, who I still feel like I have really intimate, close connections with. And
Okay.
that's something that I really value in this community, is that even if I'm not in a romantic relationship, I can still form connections with people that are like so close that I still feel like that's like an intimate connection with that person. Like I can look at them, and I can look at them and pick up on their nonverbal cues and know what they need in that moment. Like as a handler, I am very much a protector of my community. I'm a community handler.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't just look out for the pups that I interact with and play with, but I look out for all the pets in my community.
Good.
Um,
Good.
and there's been many times where I've had to escort somebody out of our bar for disrespecting the pets in our space. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
there was one time where one of our pets, he primarily only puts his hood on when he's kind of stressed out or overstimulated.
Mm-hmm.
And so I saw him walk into the bar. He came in from outside. He had had his hood off all evening. He was in a really good mood all evening. And then all of a sudden he came inside and his hood was on, and he had gone nonverbal. And
Mm.
so I knew something had happened. I knew something was going on. And it didn't take a couple minutes. There's some guy that was following him and kind of harassing him about the pet stuff. He was like kind of like just hypersexualizing him and was making him
Mm-hmm.
feel really uncomfortable and really unsafe. I ended up having to take that guy and walk him out of the bar. Um, but it's being able to just look across the room and tell if a person in the community needs something. I'm able to just kind of meet them where they're at, and I take a lot of pride in being a person who keeps other people safe. And so that's I kind of have a I had a natural gravitation towards being a handler in the community.
Well, that's a pretty amazing trait to have, and thank you for taking care of everyone that you take care of there and keeping them all safe. That's amazing.
Absolutely. It's what I do.
Well, now we get to find out if you like to sing at all. Are you a singer at all?
No.
No. So you probably don't go out and sing karaoke then.
Uh, I don't go out and sing karaoke. However, my pet and handlers club here in Kansas City, it's called Midnight Howl. We have three different bar nights every month, and one of them is on a Wednesday, and that just so happens to coincide with the bar's karaoke night.
Oh, okay.
So there are lots of pets who do play, or don't not play, but there are lots of pets who do participate in the karaoke. That's usually the same night that my husband will come out and sing. He's a big singer, and
Okay,
him
good.
him and usually at least one or two of the other pets will try to gang up on me and try to get me to like come downstairs and participate. And I'm adamant I don't sing, not in a public space. I might sing in the car or the shower, but
Yeah.
that's audience of one. Uh,
I'm
however,
yeah.
uh, I think that the other option was a hype song, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and that I do have I have two answers for that.
Okay.
One's kind of well, I guess they're both kind of funny, but one's more of a haha funny answer, and that's Red Flag by Kesha,
Okay.
because who don't love a red flag?
Yeah, oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and then the more I'm a reactive personality type sometimes. I have big emotions, and sometimes they can come out in just big, like I get loud, is what I do usually.
Okay.
And so there's this uh, group called Cruella, and they've got a song called "Don't Tell Me to Calm Down," and that's probably a very accurate theme song to my life. Of yeah, don't tell me to calm down because that's going to have the opposite effect. I'm going to get more worked up.
Even more, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So either of those songs I think are pretty
Oh,
descriptive.
awesome. I love it, yes. Well, in the years that you have been, in the community, both the gay community and the handler pup critter pet community, what challenges have you faced out there and how have you been able to overcome them?
Um, I mean, I feel like there have been challenges in every step of the way in every community that I've
Hmm.
been a part in. Like when I was growing up, I had a lot of support from my family in the sense of, that I came out young, I was queer, and they embraced that. But I came out at a time where it wasn't cool yet to be like gay. And like
Yeah.
whenever I was in school, it was still very much the target kid to be made fun of. And so I had to deal with a lot of bullies, which
Hmm.
I'm a fighter. So I spent a lot of time in like in and out of school suspension when I was growing up. Um, enough so that I wound up dropping out and getting my GED. I didn't I because of how like, awful, honestly, my experience was because of my peers being bullies and little shit
Hmm.
about me and a couple other the gay kids that were open in school. I ended up dropping out and getting my GED, and I started taking classes at the local community college. But uh, yeah, that was kind of, I guess, a really big challenge growing up in the queer community. And then I would say fast forward more present times in the pet community. Um, there's a pattern I've noticed that I have not yet figured out how to fully address, and that
Okay.
is community division.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
frequently, there will be like a mosh group that some two individuals get into an argument or a fight, and then they split off, and then all of a sudden you've got a new mosh group that's starting up.
Yeah.
Uh, I've heard of similar stories like that happening in cities all across the country, and that's something that recently kind of has started to happen in my community. And I feel like there are other ways that we as a community should be able to come together to prevent things like that from happening.
Yeah.
Um, I think that there needs to be more members of the community that serve as like mediators, who are able to kind of intervene whenever there are people who are feuding and be like, okay, let's have a come into Jesus talk and let's get our shit together.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree
Because
with you.
we're even though we might dress up like dogs, we're still adults here and we should be able to work through problems and
Exactly.
communicate enough that we don't have these big fallouts.
Yes. Yes. I agree with you. Well, last question, and this is tied around. It doesn't necessarily have to be a queer icon or role model, but do you have an ultimate icon or role model out there that you follow, learn from?
So I don't know why I've answered a lot of these questions with two answers, but I have another two answers for this
That's
question.
okay.
Um, so my very basic gay heart, very generic answer is Lady Gaga is somebody who I've like kind of idolized since I was real young when she came on the scene. She's just a couple years older than me. So I've always felt a very close kinship to her and her music. And the fact that she's always like, I mean, she identifies as bisexual, and then she's always been
Hmm.
such an outspoken advocate for the queer community.
Yep.
Uh, so that's somebody that's always been very near and dear to my heart. But on a more immediate local level, um, and my honest first answer, whenever I thought about this question, was a local member of our leather community here in Kansas City, named JB Aviance. Uh,
Okay.
he was our Mr. Missouri Leather a couple of years ago. He went to IML. I can't remember exactly where he placed, but he's very engaged and very active in the community. He's one of the founding members of the Onyx of the Great Plains chapter. Uh,
Hmm.
we have very proudly had that club just get established here in the last several weeks. I plan on joining as an associate member. Racial justice and equality is something that's very passionate to me, and JB is somebody who is a very outspoken advocate on that stuff. And I just have always, ever I've known him for over a decade now, and I've always looked up to him, and I've always admired his commitment to justice and his drive for good. And he's someone who walks into a room, he lights the room up, he walks in, he is loud, he takes up space, and I wish that there were more people like JB that,
Hmm.
yeah, that are able to bring people together. He's the pledge coordinator for the Pioneers, which is the leather one of the other leather clubs here in town. So he's also very instrumental in like bringing people into the community and showing them around and connecting them with people. And he's always just always there and always willing to help and always lend a hand and always bring somebody under his wing if that's needed. And so,
Okay.
yeah,
Awesome.
two different
Well,
answers, two very different
hey,
answers.
I totally get you. That's perfectly fine to have two different answers. If you would like to also, if someone wants to reach out to you, if you have any social media that you would like to share, you could do that here as well.
So I'm like an ancient dinosaur and I'm primarily on Facebook. And people can just search my name. It's just Mason Hakes, MasonHakes. Um, and you'll see me on my pictures up there with my Midwest Handler gear on.
Okay.
Uh, and then I'm also on I'm also on Blue Sky, but that's not exactly like that's more adult content. But
Okay.
you can find me on there under at what is it? It's at Brat Magnet.
Okay. All right. Well, any last words you want before we sign off here?
Uh, I think that the more people keep open minds and open hearts, the better world we're going to live in.
I agree with that. Yes. Well, it's been awesome getting this little bit of time to sit and learn a little bit about you and get to talk to you. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, it's not the last time we get to talk.
For sure. I'm around.
Awesome. Well, you take care.
Thanks, you too.